Hi, it's Andy here at Photech Video. Have you ever wondered how to take those images where the background and surroundings are perfectly still and in focus, but the subject gives the impression of moving across the plane of the image? In this video, I'm going to tell you the settings which I use to get this kind of image and what gear you will need. A few weeks ago, I visited the beautiful city of Hong Kong on a short business trip, and I took my Sony ZV-E10 APS-C mirrorless camera with my Sony 16 to 50 mm f3.5 to f5.6 kit lens. I couldn't miss the opportunity whilst in this exciting city to take some photos. So off I went to take a series of photos around the streets of Hong Kong in the area where I was staying. And amongst those images, I took a series of photos using longer exposure, what we call shutter drag, to create that moving, blurred motion of the subject crossing across the plane of the photo. If you like taking photos with a different look and feel about them, then long exposure shutter drag photography could be a great option for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this type of images in my APS-C mirrorless camera. If you use a smartphone for taking photos, check out my recent video above where I show you how to obtain this type of photography on the Google Pixel 8 smartphone. So I thought to myself, whilst in Hong Kong, let's take advantage and take some long exposure shutter drag photos of the many buses which you can see traveling all over the city. I was also lucky enough to get a series of tram photos as well. And why not? As Hong Kong is so populated, I also took some photos of people crossing the road where the surroundings were completely in focus, but the pedestrians were out of focus as they were moving across the zebra crossing. As opposed to long exposure images which create light trails behind cars and vehicles, which can have really long exposures up to 30 seconds, 1 minute, and of course even more. The style which I'm going to talk about today is daytime photography, long exposure shutter drag, which generally requires a shutter speed of between half a second and 1 second. Because we want to keep our camera as still as possible for the duration of the exposure, I recommend two other pieces of kit for this type of photography. The first is some sort of tripod or support for your camera, and the second is a shutter release, either wired or wireless. The wired ones are usually the cheaper version. I picked up this Hapunsen wireless remote shutter release for under $20 US. It's very small and will fit into your pocket very easily. The tripod I used on this shoot is my favorite mini tripod. It's the Ulanzi MT46, which goes absolutely everywhere with me in the pocket of my camera bag. It's a strong metal mini tripod which has good firm solid legs as well as extending to a reasonable height. It comes with an adjustable ball mount with the Ulanzi F38 quick release plate, to which I have attached the Ulanzi Claw quick release system, as I have the Ulanzi Claw base plate on all of my cameras for easy, quick and safe release and attachment. I will add affiliate links to the tripod, the remote control and other gear used in the making of this video in the description section down below. If you decide to buy any of the gear through one of my links, the cost to you will be the real current price, and I will receive a small commission which will help me to continue creating content for you on this channel. So, the goal in this type of photography is to obtain an image showing a static, non-moving, perfectly in focus background and surroundings with an out of focus subject which looks like it's moving across the plane of the image. And in actual fact, it really was moving across the plane of the image when the shutter release was pressed. The way to obtain this type of image is to use an aperture value which will give you the in-focus depth of field which you require, combined with a shutter speed which lasts for the amount of time that the object is crossing the plane of the image. In several of the photos which I will include in this video, I set my aperture to f/22 for that in-focus depth of field and a shutter speed of between half a second and 1 second, controlling the exposure of the image by changing the ISO value to higher or lower. I was able to sit my Ulanzi ML46 mini tripod on the street railings in front of the subjects which I wanted to shoot. If you want to avoid camera shake and blur in the background and surroundings of the image and you haven't got a shutter release cable, you can use the inbuilt timer in the camera. On the Sony ZV-E10, the shortest timer is 2 seconds. So it can be a little hit and miss, especially at first, until you get used to estimating where your subject is going to be in 2 seconds time. But once you get used to that 2-second delay, it becomes much easier. The trick, as in all types of photography, is to press the shutter release button at the right moment. So let's take a look at a few examples of long exposure shutter drag images taken on the streets of Hong Kong. All of the images coming up are straight out of camera JPEGs with a white border added. Well, there you have it. I hope you liked my long exposure shutter drag examples and that you decide to try out some of this type of photography for yourself. If you do, please tell us about it in the comments section down below. Click on the link above to see my recent video about the Sony ZV-E10 coupled with the 16 to 50mm Sony kit lens for street photography in general, with examples again from the streets of Hong Kong. As always, I was very happy with the results which I obtained from my Sony ZV-E10 coupled with my 16 to 50mm Sony kit lens. And because of its compact size, it is a great camera to travel with. This type of photography is really good fun, and it's an excellent insight into how to obtain the correct exposure and keep your subject in frame at slow shutter speeds. Did you know that subscribing to a channel on YouTube is completely free for you? And it has a double use. By subscribing to a channel, YouTube will assume that you like this type of content and therefore will offer it to you on your home page. And of course, it helps the channel which you've subscribed to grow. So if you liked this video and you find this kind of content interesting, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring on that notification bell to be notified every time a new video drops on my channel. So until the next time, this is Andy at Photech Videos signing off. Take care and be safe.